As a small business, there's more than a devotion just to manufacturing a plane and getting out the door.
Here in tiny Olney, Texas, Air Tractor has been making agricultural and firefighting planes since the 1950s.
I remember the president of the company coming to me in the mid-90s and saying, you know, David, 90% of our business is in the United States. It's becoming a more mature market. When you have all of your business in one market like that, you're more subject to droughts, issues that might come up locally that are not necessarily the same issues at the same time throughout the world. Where Air Tractor's growth is today is outside of the United States.
Air Tractor is just one of thousands of American businesses looking for opportunities in international markets. Nearly a third of U.S. economic growth since the financial crisis has been driven by exports.
I found out very quickly there were not a lot of banks that would embrace export lending. They had minimums that were way too high for a small business. Once we found XM, our first medium-term export credit transaction was for 2 firefighting planes in Spain. It's interesting to know that we probably now have 70 planes in Spain and in the region, but only those first 2 were financed.
Air Tractor isn't alone. In 2013, Exim Bank approved just over 3,400 small business authorizations, putting that number at close to 90% of Exim's total authorizations. In 2014, the bank followed that success, supporting $27.5 billion in U.S. exports.
Our relationship with XM goes back to 1995. Initially, when we started this process, we had about 10% of our sales that were export. Over the years, we saw our export sales grow each year as a percentage of total sales. Today, and for the last several years, that percentage has been around 50%. What that was causing back home in Olney, Texas, was an increase in employment. Today, we employ approximately 270 people. In a town of 3,000 in this local rural community, it's solid growth.
For most of its 80-year history, Exim has enjoyed steady bipartisan support. Today, it faces a significant political threat. Opponents argue that while the bank benefits thousands of exporters, the bulk of its financing supports America's largest companies that could subsidize their own goods to compete internationally. Without reauthorization by Congress, the Exim charter is set to expire on June 30th, 2015.